We do have a quorum. Item 1 is consideration of the minutes of the meeting held on June 10th, 2022. I'll entertain a motion from the commission regarding the minutes.
I move to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Have a motion, have a second. Any discussion regarding the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Motion is unanimous. Item number 2 is the report from our ADEM director.
Well, first of all, it's nice to be back with you all at a meeting here. I missed the last one. I guess everybody's gotten the Alaska travel log by now, but it's a pleasure to be with you.
We're not going to have a slideshow from Alaska.
I do. I have some slides here. Okay. Well, good morning to everybody here. And this is the final meeting of the Alabama Environmental Management Commission for fiscal year 22. Today's report will focus on the department's environmental justice and related activities and the current status of the American Rescue Plan Act and bipartisan infrastructure law activities being undertaken by the department. I'll also update you on the status of construction of our new Mobile field office and lab. Environmental justice, often referred to as EJ, has been receiving heightened attention from the new federal administration. In fact, in EPA's new 5-year strategic plan, it is second in priority only to climate change and ranks well ahead of clean air, clean water, and clean land. Attention to environmental justice is nothing new for you as a commission. For many years, you have expressed an ongoing interest in the EJ and related activities of the department. It's now part of our regular reporting routine to update you on environmental justice and related activities, which is the focus of today's report. Each of the last 3 updates to the 5-year unified strategic plan of the commission and department have clear objectives related to fair treatment of and proactive outreach to all stakeholders, particularly those in minority and disadvantaged communities. The annual operating plans of the department implement the efforts to achieve those objectives. Environmental justice is related to civil rights law, diversity, environmental regulation, and social justice. All of these fall under the heading of fair treatment. This slide highlights the major milestones in our nation's journey toward assuring fair treatment for all. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits the recipients of federal funds from engaging in discriminatory treatment of individuals based on race, color, or national origin. It is the law. ADEM receives federal funds and is therefore subject to the law. In the 1960s, the movement toward diversity began to take hold as a concept and has developed over the years to encompass the ideas of equity and inclusion, with a number of initiatives, including at least one presidential executive order related to the federal government executive branch employment. ADEM wholeheartedly embraces the concepts of diversity, equity, and inclusion. On the environmental side of fair treatment, in the 1970s, the Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, Safe Drinking Water Act, and Resource Conservation and Recovery Act became laws. The state of Alabama, through ADEM, has been delegated authority to administer those federal environmental laws under the conforming state laws. The formal concept of environmental justice came about through a 1994 presidential executive order to address perceived environmental burdens borne by low-income and minority populations. Although presidential executive orders are only binding on certain federal agencies, including EPA, in the executive branch of the federal government, ADEM has determined EJ is a worthy concept and voluntarily embraces the EJ fair treatment goals. When considering ADEM's programs to promote fair treatment for all individuals in our state, we must also be aware of the backdrop of history. Alabama's history from many years ago, like that of many states, included discriminatory practices. Try as we might, and despite much evidence to the contrary, those less familiar with Alabama harbor preconceived skepticism about our commitment to fair treatment and proactive outreach to all Alabamians. This creates hurdles for the department to overcome. For example, EPA's External Civil Rights Compliance Office has audited the department's civil rights non-discrimination program more than any other state non-discrimination program in the nation. I'm pleased that each audit determined the program met or surpassed all legal requirements. Indeed, today's report will highlight how the department goes beyond simply complying with the law. It will show that we are going the extra mile to invest in activities to achieve fair treatment for all of those in our state. The ADEM Environmental Justice Program incorporates 4 main goals. First, to deepen EJ practices to improve the health and environment of our overburdened communities. This includes engaging those communities in rulemaking, permitting, and compliance issues, as well as employing innovative tools to communicate with all stakeholders. The second goal is to work with various partners to expand our positive impact within overburdened communities. This involves working with our state government and local governments, federal agencies, primarily EPA, and non-governmental community organizations. The third goal is to demonstrate progress on significant environmental justice challenges, with particular emphasis in the areas of lead disparities, drinking water quality, air quality, and hazardous waste sites. This is the area where ADEM has been well out ahead of EPA. The final goal, articulated since my last report to you on EJ, is to implement the new federal initiative to direct 40% of federal program benefits to disadvantaged communities. That initiative is called Justice 40. In undertaking activities to assure fair treatment of individuals in those areas of our state with environmental justice concerns, the first step is to identify those areas with environmental justice concerns. For a number of years, EPA and ADEM have defined environmental justice areas as those census tracts with a non-white population of greater than 120% of the statewide non-white population percentage, as well as those with a median in household income below 120% of the poverty level. Earlier this year, the federal administration adopted a new methodology to focus on disadvantaged communities, which includes those census tracts with environmental justice concerns. The new methodology analyzes information by census tract along 8 environmental, climate, health, and socioeconomic criteria, utilizing 25 different data sets to identify disadvantaged populations. For those census tracts with disadvantaged populations based on any one of the 8 criteria, the administration seeks to direct to those communities 40% of the benefits of federal spending in the Justice 40 initiative. The federal administration analyzed its selected data and developed a map that identifies each of the census tracts deemed disadvantaged. The department now uses this map to track our environmental justice activities. While there is considerable overlap of the areas with EJ concerns under the old definition and the new definition, there are some differences. So some of the results reported in years past may not be comparable to the results I'll be reporting today. Looking at the ADEM-EJ program, we begin by highlighting that ADEM has dedicated the necessary human resources to make our EJ efforts successful. EJ coordinators have been designated in our air, land, water, and permits and services divisions. Because of the importance of this effort, the coordinators' EJ activities are overseen by the deputy director. The deputy director meets with the coordinators regularly to manage activities and assess progress. The personnel assigned to coordinate EJ activities receive the specialized training necessary to be effective in their work. The ongoing training often involves EPA-sponsored programs. Training is an important step in all that we do. In addition to training our EJ coordinators, we formally train each of our personnel in the basic concepts of fair treatment. We begin with the requirements of the law. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We are all required to comply with the law, so each employee is trained in the requirements of the law. We utilize an online program developed by EPA that is now housed in the department. A formal diversity training program was implemented in 2020. The program was developed at the University of South Alabama at our request and covers the concepts of diversity, equity, and inclusion. As with Title VI, all personnel are required to complete the video training program. In addition to training our assigned EJ coordinators, as noted earlier, for more than 10 years, the department has provided in-house formal environmental justice training for every member of our staff. 3 years ago, the department reached out to EPA for input on its vision and implementation of EJ concepts. EPA had no EJ training program. Last year, EPA completed development of an environmental justice training program. Every ADEM employee is required to complete that training program. EPA is now using that program as the basis for EJ training throughout the nation. For a number of years, the department has been tracking what environmental results have actually been achieved in the communities with EJ concerns. EPA is implementing the new Justice 40 initiative that seeks to have 40% of all benefits from federal actions to accrue to communities with EJ concerns, but it is too early to track federal results. However, we can track the department's results. You'll note that the 12 EJ program metrics ADEM has been tracking for years have concentrations of between 55% and 98% in or abutting the newly defined communities with EJ concerns. Our EJ, or Justice 40 areas, have 55% of the brownfields cleaned up, 56% of the air monitoring sites, 62% of the illegal dump cleanups from the department's solid waste fund for innocent landowners, 65% of the recipients of special compliance assistance for above ground storage tanks, 68% of the fish tissue sampling stations, 76% of the scrap tire cleanups, 84% of our water quality sampling stations are in Justice 40 communities, 90% of the water bodies with TM, total maximum daily load limits, 92% of the diesel retrofit grants, 94% of the stream miles with TMDLs, 94% of the assessed water bodies, and 98% of the non-point source pollution control project awards. In addition to the formal EJ training and tracking actual results, the department also gives extra ranking weight to EJ areas when prioritizing which unauthorized dump sites are to be cleaned up, ineligibility for partial principal forgiveness in the drinking and wastewater state revolving fund loan programs, as well as funding through the American Rescue Plan Act and bipartisan infrastructure law that will be discussed later in this report. We provide extra ranking weight for demonstration projects in our scrap tire, recycling, and other programs. And the department provides extra ranking weight in the various grant programs administered by the department. This is to name just a few. The department has gone beyond activities that can be measured quantitatively with a number of fair treatment initiatives, such as special compliance assistance to local governments in areas with environmental justice concern, enhanced marketing of low-interest loans and grants to drinking water and wastewater systems in disadvantaged communities, targeted health and education initiatives in EJ areas, focused brownfield redevelopment in disadvantaged areas of Alabama, increased community meetings and listening sessions in disadvantaged areas, especially during high-interest permitting activities, and direct mailings to every household within a given radius for high-interest activities by the department in communities with EJ concerns. As the data on these previous slides clearly demonstrates, ADEM far exceeds the 40% goal in the Justice 40 initiative in those areas where benefits can be measured. The department is dedicated to fair treatment and proactive outreach to all stakeholders, especially those in disadvantaged communities. Our goals and activities reflect that dedication. Specific personnel are assigned to coordinate the department's EJ activities. All our employees are formally trained in the principles of fair treatment. We use metrics to measure actual results, including tracking where the benefits of the federal programs are received. A hand-up tailored outreach is offered to disadvantaged communities. ADEM fair treatment activities are systematic, focused, and results-oriented. These efforts are not mandated by statute or regulation. Copies of a more detailed outline of ADEM's environmental justice and related activities, along with a reference copy of a compilation of the department's broader community outreach activities included in a booklet titled Community Engagement, are on the table in the lobby for review. The booklet is a living document subject to update and input from interested parties. The electronic version of Community Engagement is available on the homepage of the department's website. The reason we put the document online is to provide the public a way to hold the department accountable for its activities to ensure fair treatment to all individuals in Alabama. Moving on, the American Rescue Plan Act, often referred to as ARPA, and the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, often referred to as BIL, are federal programs providing substantial funds for various purposes. ARPA was enacted in March of 2021. It provided $1.9 trillion. Individual communities in Alabama and throughout the nation received funds directly from the U.S. Treasury. The state of Alabama, in its own right, was allocated $2.1 billion, with $1 billion distributed in 2021 and $1.1 billion received in mid-July of this year. This is kind of a busy slide, so let me walk you through it. In February of 22, the Alabama State Legislature appropriated $225 million of the first $1 billion of ARPA funds to upgrade public drinking water and wastewater systems in Alabama and assigned ADEM the task of distributing the funds on a needs-based approach. There are indications additional ARPA funds may be appropriated from the remaining $1.1 billion for additional drinking water and wastewater upgrades in the state. In November 2021, the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure law was signed. Over a 5-year period, the state of Alabama is to receive an estimated $765 million for public drinking water and wastewater upgrades through an allocation by EPA directly to ADEM. Approximately $137 million is available in 2022. Between those two programs, there will be approximately $990 million in funding to upgrade public drinking water and wastewater systems in Alabama during the next 5 years. In 2022, $362 million from the two programs will be available. In addition to the ARPA and BIL funding, ADEM also has approximately $111 million in its regular state revolving fund loan programs available in 2022 for funding water and sewer upgrades. In total, ADEM has approximately $1.1 billion from the three sources to distribute, with $473 million available in 2022. The department contacted each of the 1,061 public drinking water and wastewater systems in Alabama requesting proposed projects for upgrades. With approximately half of the systems responding so far, we have requests totaling $3.2 billion. To date, the department has committed $318 million to 72 public drinking water and wastewater projects in Alabama. In order to maximize the benefits from the available funding, the systems are being required to provide a portion of the funding for the projects to the degree they are financially able. The passage of the Clean Water Act in 1972 prompted substantial investments in drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. Competing priorities have caused systems throughout the nation to neglect ongoing investments to properly maintain those infrastructures. After 50 years, upgrades are needed. This is an historic opportunity to address those needs, and ADEM is in the lead in making that happen in Alabama. Now on to our field office and lab. We are into our fourth month of an anticipated 14-month construction schedule on our new Mobile field office and lab. Progress is 30 days behind the initial schedule due to a 30-day delay in the issuance of a city permit, but that can likely be made up. To date, we have construction cost increases of approximately $120,000, $75,000 of which is covered by the contingency included in the construction bid price. The uncovered increase of $53,000 represents about a 0.5% net cost increase over and above the $11 million bid. $20,000 of the increased cost is for electric vehicle charging stations, with the remaining increase due to unanticipated subsurface soil conditions. Supply chain delays or materials unavailability have so far not been a factor. Overall, construction is about 15% complete. In this photo taken from the front of the site on Broad Street, you can see the installation of footings for the building. This next photo is also looking from Broad Street and shows the below slab plumbing being installed. The site work, footing pours, and other subsurface work is about 95% complete. The next step will be pouring the slab, followed by the installation of structural steel. The lease on the Dolphin Street office expires in June 23, and the Perimeter Road office will be appraised and go out for bids as we approach the June 23rd completion of construction on the new office. Future reports will update you on the progress of construction. That concludes today's report. I'll be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions of the director? I have one. I'm just curious, of the funds that you've said have been distributed, I can't remember the number, 300 and some odd that have been committed? The 318 million.
Right.
Any idea how much of that is what you consider, what do you call it, forgiveness? Or
Loan forgiveness.
loan forgiveness?
In that, we have, I believe loan forgiveness is about, where's our folks? I don't have those figures in front of me right now, but the bulk of that is in grants. Matching funds are about $96 million. So $96 million from the 318 would leave you somewhere around 220
Some of them. Just curious.
million is in grants. That was the intention under the statute that was, of the legislation that was passed in February.
Let's hope we don't find ourselves in the same position 50 years from now.
Well, part of the analysis that we perform before making any of these grants or loans, once again, they're on a needs basis. Before making any of those grants or loans, the sustainability of the upgrades is part of the consideration. Each of the projects is overseen by an engineer, and the preliminary engineering reports are required to address sustainability.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I had one. A few months ago, we talked about a training program for good inmates in the prisons for the wastewater treatment plant. Has that moved forward at all?
It has not moved forward, and the reason for that appears to be that the Department of Corrections has a lot on their plate right now. They have a new commissioner, and the $400 million out of the ARPA funds have been put into construction, along with about another $500 million, I believe it is, for the new prison facilities. We haven't been very high on the priority list of there. However, we will be pursuing that. We got to get our time slot in there to promote the program.
Thank you, Director LaFleur.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda item number 3 is a report from the Commission Chair. I usually don't have a report, but I guess today I can. This will be my last meeting. My term ends next month. So I want to first express my appreciation to Lance and specifically Debbie for your support and other members of the department too. Serving in this role as a member of the commission, of course, it gives you a little more. I had some interaction with ADEM in my career, but not to this degree. It's given me an appreciation for the professionalism of the department, for sure. And I encourage you all to support them. And I also encourage the department to not be satisfied with the status quo. Always reach and try to make things better. Push for more funding, try to make things better. So thank you for the opportunity. Next item on our agenda, item number 4, is Deanne Cassandra Rainey, petitioner versus ADEM respondent, EMC docket number 20-01. Acknowledged for the record of petitioner Deanne Cassandra Rainey's withdrawal of the request for hearing. On November 6, 2019, petitioner Deanne Cassandra Rainey filed with the Commission a request for hearing regarding ADEM Administrative Order Number 19-090-SW issued on July 18, 2019 to Deanne Cassandra Rainey, Katy Lane unauthorized dump in Asheville, St. Clair County, Alabama. On August 1st, 2022, the petitioner filed with the Commission a notice of withdrawal of request for hearing. So as chair, we acknowledge for the record petitioner Deanne Cassandra Rainey's withdrawal request for hearing. Agenda item number 5 is other business. Is there any other business that needs to be brought before the Commission today? Hearing none. Item number 6 is our future business session. The next Commission meeting is October the 14th, 2022. As far as we know, all the commissioners are going to be here. Specifically you, Jay. Jay is the vice chair. That means he'll be running the meeting next time, I assume. So, we have no speakers today. No request to speak. Very well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion, have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you for your attendance. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your service.